and welcome. I'm Tracy Pa with the Midday News. Prime Minister James Marape has addressed concerns following the addition of Papua New Guinea by the Financial Action Task Force, the Grey List. The designation follows the conclusion of the FATF plenary on February 13, 2026, where Papua New Guinea and Kuwait were added to the list of countries. They will now be required to strengthen their anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing frameworks.
Prime Minister James Marape has responded to concerns regarding Papua New Guinea's recent inclusion in the Financial Action Task Force, or FATF Grey List. This means PNG will be under increased monitoring. In his address to heads of departments recently, Prime Minister Marape emphasized the government's commitment to improving transparency, accountability, and compliance within public financial management and service delivery.
You and me are sitting under the shade of the Somali generation, the democracy they birthed, the free market economy they created, the independence of court system they created, the Ombudsman Commission they set up. Yet most of us are squandering time. I'm not talking about money, squandering time. The greatest chronic problem facing our country is the misuse of time, squander of time, waste of time, not getting things done, and pushing on to the next day, thinking someone else will do the job the next day, and you will do the job next day. Seeing the same paper 100 times before deciding on what to do. Gentlemen, I have no time to waste. I need men and women who can rise up to work for our country and not work for themselves.
The Prime Minister stressed that the government has already taken steps to strengthen the country's integrity and accountability framework. He reassured citizens that the government is taking proactive steps to enhance its compliance with international standards, thereby aiming to earn back trust and confidence in Papua New Guinea's financial systems.
Work, work, and work. All of you do not need to be lectured on MTDB4. By this July 7th, it will be 10th year in which we've launched MTDB4 here. So for those, especially those who are continuing office, by 31st of March, what you have delivered to expectations of government through MTDB4 that encapsulates this Pango administration's vision must be reported to your minister, to cabinet, to the minister, and to parliament. I will have a session with all of you after 31st of March this year, so that your report card is presented to the floor of Parliament for people to know what you and me have been doing collectively.
Marape says with the legal and institutional architecture now in place, the responsibility lies with implementing agencies to fully exercise their statutory mandates. He confirmed that the government has already begun strengthening coordination between the departments of finance, treasury, and national planning, while also engaging private sector accounting firms to audit public accounts and track displacement and compensation claims. Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
Eviction of illegal settlers residing at the Ho'ola White House area in the nation's capital began this morning. It was endorsed by the court and is being enforced by the NCD and Central Police Command. TVWAN News was prevented by police from accessing the area to capture footage of the eviction exercise. Those amateur videos show materials of dismantled structures that once housed the evictees as they move about to vacate the area. Acting Assistant Commissioner of Police for the NCD and Central, Benjamin Turry, confirmed in a recent media statement that his office was notified of the endorsed eviction exercise. Turry said police will only enforce directives from the courts based on genuine documents. He added that illegal settlements popping up in other locations will also be demolished when the city authority gives the green light. The Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary is conducting an additional recruitment drive at the Bomana National Centre of Excellence in the National Capital District to increase the number of recruits entering police training. Officials say this additional intake is crucial for strengthening the force and meeting the growing security needs of the National Capital District and beyond. With the opening of new infrastructure at the Bomana National Centre of Excellence, management of the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary has increased its recruitment intake from 300 to 500 trainees per batch. This initiative supports the national government's commitment to expand the police force to 10,000 personnel by 2030 as part of the ongoing law and justice sector reforms. From 2026 onwards, the constabulary plans to further increase intake numbers to approximately 700 recruits per batch. In December 2025, a public call-out invited interested applicants from NCD, Central and Gulf provinces to apply for the additional recruitment drive. A total of 7,696 applications were received through the RPNGC online portal. Of those, 2,711 applicants were shortlisted, while the remainder were unsuccessful due to missing documents, low grades in mathematics and English, being over the age limit, or not meeting other recruitment criteria. Of the 2,711 shortlisted applications, 2,806 are from NCD, 463 from Central and 162 from Gulf Province. The recruitment process for NCD candidates is currently underway at the Bomana National Centre of Excellence. Once completed, the team will proceed to Central and Gulf Provinces. The NCD recruitment began on Monday, 9th February 2026 and is expected to be completed by the end of this week. The shortlisted applicants will proceed through the recruitment process to determine their eligibility for the additional intake. Successful candidates from this drive will join the second batch of 2025 recruits drawn from the Highlands and New Guinea Islands regions for police training commencing in April 2026. Due to time constraints, this additional recruitment drive is limited to NCD's Central and Gulf provinces. A separate call-out for the 2026 police recruitment will be announced later. 40 Papua New Guinea women researchers graduated from a program delivered by the Apex Summit Centre at RMIT University, Melbourne on Friday, 13 February 2026. The Strongim Research Capacity Blongol Mary program forms part of the Australian government's commitment to supporting women's participation in a diverse and inclusive research sector, contributing to long-term sustainable economic growth. Gritel Matawan, a senior project officer with the Consultative Implementation and Monitoring Council, was among the participants. Her work at CIMC focuses on enhancing women's participation in the annual budget process, and she has already begun putting her skills into practice. In news overseas, residents across the ex-Western border are being warned of looming water restrictions with the hot, dry summer taking a toll on water reserves. The Yas Valley Council has flagged Level 1 restriction could be in force as soon as the end of this week, with more on the horizon if rainfall doesn't improve.
A dry summer and a recent drought has Yas Valley Council warning water restrictions are imminent.
We have had water evaporate quite rapidly from the dam, around 15 millimetres a day, and so we're around about 70 centimetres below the dam wall right now.
Level 1 restrictions kick in when the dam is at 81% capacity. Current water levels are getting close to that, now at 83%. Authorities hope this year might bring more rain.
Even if the dam was full at capacity, it only supplies 9 months of water, so we rely on those constant top-ups.
Despite similar weather conditions, water reserves in Canberra are at healthier levels.
In the short term, water restrictions do not look like they're on the cards for the ACT, but we don't want anyone to become complacent in terms of how they use water, because it is a precious resource.
With hot and dry weather forecast for Yass in the coming weeks, the Yass Valley Council is predicting Stage 1 water restrictions could kick in as early as this Friday. Those restrictions will limit water used for non-essential outdoor activities, such as hosing down paved surfaces or washing cars more than once a week. Many residents are resigned to the necessity of restrictions.
Restrictions are very inconvenient, but obviously, if they're a necessary measure if we're going to run out of water. We don't definitely want to run out of water.
I actually thought it was going to come in earlier than that, to be honest. I actually thought, well, it should be here now.
Let the lawn die, love. It'll come back.
A town ready to go with the flow.
Health staff has cancelled plans for industrial action this week as the Tasmanian government and public sector unions urge closer a new pay and conditions deal. The sides have been at a stalemate for months after workers rejected the state government's offer of a 3% rise for 1 year. But now a breakthrough is on the cards.
With unions and the government at odds, strikes have disrupted the state's service in recent months. Today, health staff began taking new industrial action, including a ban on overtime and billing Medicare for procedures, hoping to pile pressure on ahead of meetings with government negotiators, having previously rejected the offer of a 3% pay rise for 1 year.
We will keep sitting at the table, and we would encourage others to do the same.
That action has now been suspended, the state government indicating an improved offer is on the way. More meetings have now been penciled in for Wednesday. If successful, it'll break the months-long deadlock.
Well, it's a basic necessity of any government to be able to come to arrangements with your workforce that are fair, equitable and allow people to be able to live a decent life.
Every extra percentage point pay rise for state servants costs around $250 million. And the budget's in a pretty rough spot already, with net debt set to hit $7 billion this year. It comes as the International Monetary Fund puts out a new report saying it has concerns about the credibility of Tasmania's fiscal strategy.
Not only is it calling out the debt, it's also calling out the inability of this Liberal government to keep to its spending promises.
Look, I think it's pretty extraordinary that Labor have got something to say on this. They have no credibility. Yesterday they were asking us to spend more money on childcare.
No end to the demands on the budget.
Back home in sports, the PNG Chiefs NRL franchise officially opened its new office and held its first board meeting, with Lorna McPherson officially assuming a role as Chief Executive Officer on Monday, 16th February 2026. The board meeting marks an important step in establishing the club's organizational structure, governance framework and operational priorities as the franchise continues to build its foundation. McPherson says with the office now operational, preparations are underway across administration and football operations. McPherson says PNG Chiefs remain focused on building a professional and competitive organisation that proudly represents Papua New Guinea and delivers long-term success both on and off the field. And that ends the Midday News. To join us at 6 tonight for the main bulletin. Bye for now.
Years ago, Earth was attacked. We won the war, but they destroyed half the planet.
Don't take any chances.